I think it's time. I think it's time that we anoint Derik Queen the king of New Orleans. Welcome in or welcome back. Honestly, what are we waiting for? If you are the Pelicans, what is the point of realizing that this team is not going anywhere? At the time of this recording, the Pelicans are on a 2-game winning streak, and that puts them at 5-22 on the year. And I really don't want to talk about the turmoil that this team is actually in, the fact that they don't have a pick for next year when they are obviously a very bad basketball team, so they can't capitalize on that. There are other things to talk about for this team. The fact that you have potentially two very good rookies on your team that you could build around for the future. Now, this is not a Jeremiah Fears video. This is a Derik Queen video, but I did want to mention Jeremiah Fears. I thought he was a very good prospect coming out of Oklahoma. I do think that some of his stats are a little fake. On the year, he's averaging 16, 3, and 3. The thing that I think is fake about this, though, is that he's shooting 36% from 3. Now, he's not taking a lot. Mind you, he's taking about 3 a game. But last year, he shot 27% at Oklahoma, and I just don't think that having the NBA be the only difference between you shooting 27% and 36. I just don't believe that. I do think that he could become a very good shooter. I think that his mechanics look very good. So I think that eventually he could be like a 37% guy on higher volume than what he's shooting right now. But I do think that that stat is a little fake. Other than that, I think that they have a great guard on their hands. Someone to pair with Derik Queen for the foreseeable future. Outside of that, outside of Derik Queen and Jeremiah Fears, there is not one thing to be excited about for this team. Trey Murphy III honestly looked like he could have been an all-star last year if he gotten some more votes. This year, while he does have good numbers, it's not the same effect. And believe me, I'm not downplaying 21 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and decent steal numbers with 1.7 a game. I do think that his individual defense has diminished a little bit, and he's certainly not as efficient as you would want him to be, especially with Zion out. And while I never expected Herb Jones to be this 20 points per game kind of guy, he has fallen off a cliff as well. 10 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and his defense doesn't look the same as it did a couple years ago. A couple years ago, he was in Defensive Player of the Year conversations, and now I don't think that he's particularly close. And again, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Zion Williamson has played 11 games this year. That's it. Honest to God, this isn't a bit. I forgot that Jordan Poole played for the Pelicans until I looked at the roster just now. DeJounte Murray, too. While I didn't forget that he played for the Pelicans, he hasn't played a single second for them this year. So just to recap, you are 5-22 at the time of this recording. All of your core pieces have either stayed stagnant or diminished this year compared to last year, and your star player doesn't play games. Honestly, what are we doing? I understand that NBA trade season literally just opened up. There's no shot that NBA GMs and owners don't talk about trades prior to when you can actually trade. If it were up to me, I would have made at least 5 trades already to get more draft assets for these guys. Because just according to the rumor mill, there are teams, the Warriors included, that would give up multiple first-round picks to get a Trey Murphy III, or the Pistons. Despite the troubles that I just talked about, there is going to be a team that needs a do-it-all defender in Herb Jones, and they would give up a first-round pick for him. Even some of the role players. Saddiq Bey, this week, was in a trade rumor that you could get at least a couple second-round picks for him, and then you're going to look me in the eyes and tell me that a team like New York wouldn't want Jose Alvarado on their team right now. And despite all of his flaws, despite the fact that we are in year 7 of his career, and he has played more than 50 games 2 times, despite the fact that he is not a great defender, despite the fact that in year 7, he is still not a great playmaker, despite all of those things, there is a team out there that would give up multiple first-round picks for Zion. And I have been a part of the trade Zion train for quite some time. Imagine the draft capital that a team would have to give up if they traded him 2 years ago when he played 70 games. I don't think that there is such a thing as cutting your bait too early in this league. It's very early in the season, for all intents and purposes. It's very early on in this season. But you know who the contenders are, and you know who the fakes are. Are we really going to sit here and pretend like the Pelicans have a shot to take a run at the play-in? Do we think that the Kings and the Clippers are going to be a home court advantage team? Do we think that the Bulls are going to make this sneaky run in the playoffs? No. We know that a quarter of the way through the season. And I hear this every single time that the idea of tanking in New Orleans is ever brought up. That damn draft pick that they sent to Atlanta, it doesn't matter. It's already gone. That's literally not even taking into consideration that Joe Dumars reportedly did not know what he was trading away, which I think should be a fireable offense. But now that it's already been said and done, and the fact that you didn't fire him for it already, there is no point in keeping this broken mess of a team together any longer. This isn't even the first time that I've talked about it. This is the second video in 2 years that I've made about the Pelicans needing to start over. The difference between last year making that video and this one I'm making right now is that the Pelicans actually have somebody that they could have a future with. I've been a high on Derik Queen since the draft process started. I didn't think that he was going to be this good, though. I said in my season preview for the Pelicans that the pairings, the groupings of him, Zion, DeAndre Jordan, and Kevon Looney were going to be a little clunky, but even though he's only playing 25 minutes a game and he has to share the floor with these other bigs, he is making his mark on the league. You only know the impact that he brings to a team if you're actually watching the Pelicans games, and I don't blame you if you aren't. The counting stats for the year would not scream superstar to you, but you're going to have to trust me. On the year, he's averaging 13 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Here are some of his stat lines throughout the season, though. 21, 8, and 6 against Minnesota, 17, 5, 7, and 2 steals in a win against Portland, and a 33-point triple-double against the Spurs. There's also 30, 9, and 4, 26, 7, and 4, 21, 8, and 6, 27, and 11, 29, and 3. This guy has the ability to be this do-it-all offensive 5 in the league like we see with Alperen Şengün, Domantas Sabonis, and Nikola Jokic. And while I would never sit here and say that he has the ability to be like those guys, to be as good as they are, the league is trending this way, and I think that he is the perfect prototype to attach yourself to. Every single team in the league either has a guy that they're trying this out with or want a guy that they can do this with, to play through this high post, to have your big be the decision maker. The Cavs have 2 of them in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, to varying degrees of success. Wendell Carter Jr. for the Magic, coming in the form as of late. They're trying that out in Orlando with him. Isaiah Hartenstein in Oklahoma City, Zubats in LA, even the Boston Celtics are trying to get Neemias Queta to run that show at the high post. Derik Queen just seems like he has the ability to be a kind of guy like that. He seems like he has the ability to average 7 assists a game. He seems like he has the ability to be a high post offensive hub. He seems like he has the ability to get the best out of his teammates. And while Willie Green did get fired, and I still don't think that the reason that he went 2-10 in his time in New Orleans this year was his fault. There were plenty of external reasons why the Pelicans were bad. The ability that James Borrego has given Derik Queen to showcase his talent, to showcase his game feel, has been invaluable to him. Again, it's something that you're only going to notice if you're actually watching the games. And again, I don't blame you if you're not watching Pelicans games. But what I can promise you is that if you took somebody in your life that doesn't watch the NBA and you sat them down for a Pelicans game, more often than not, they would come away from that game thinking that Derik Queen was the best player on the floor, or at the very least, someone who they could say is the best player for the Pelicans. And that shouldn't be the case for a 20-year-old rookie. That shouldn't be the case for a 20-year-old rookie when there is Zion and Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones and Jordan Poole and all these guys on this team, but that's the reality that we're living in now. This whole thing is so silly. And, maybe I make this video and in a couple weeks, they decide to just tank the whole season. They decide to blow the whole thing up and get a bunch of draft picks to surround Derik Queen with in the future. Maybe this video is for naught. But again, there is no reason that this team is as bad as they are. And there are many players on this team that are eating up hundreds of millions of dollars in cap room. 4-5 wins on the year. Even by my most conservative estimation, the players that I've talked about in this video so far, Zion, Trey, Jordan, Sadiq Bey, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, even some guys like Jordan Hawkins, I feel like you could trade away those guys and they would give you, at a minimum, 7 first-round picks. I have this want to believe that New Orleans deserves a franchise. After everything they went through with Katrina, after the whole Chris Paul thing, after Anthony Davis, after this debacle with Zion Williamson, I want good things to happen to the Pelicans. And I think that they have, but they need to just let it go. They need to let go of the past. This entire tenure, this 7-year ordeal with Zion has been nothing short of a nightmare. They should have traded him 2 years ago. They should have traded him after he got hurt and he couldn't recover. They should have done all these things. But now it is too late. You have missed that train. You got to trade them all. Trade Zion. Trade Trey. Trade Herb. Trade Jordan Poole. Trade everything you can for assets in the future. Specifically, I hope that you would trade for a pick this year so you can at least replenish the one that you gave up. The Pelicans have been bad for a couple years now, but at least now you have something that you can look forward to. You have somebody who could theoretically be one of the best players in the world one day. But am I too high, too low, or just right on the Pelicans and Derik Queen? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, check my link tree. I've got a bunch of socials you can follow me on: Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, TikTok. I am everywhere. And I even have a Discord community that I would love for you to be a part of. That's going to do it for me today. Be kind. Tell somebody you love them. I'll see you in the next one.
Barely scraping by, trying to stop puffing. I'm trying to be one of the greats.